What's happening, everybody? This is your boy Dealer Destro, back with another toy video review, and we're going to switch it up a little bit here. Was out and about the other day looking for stuff for my son, little post-Christmas shopping, and happened across this bad boy here. After a quick review in the store aisle, I determined this was worth the price point that they're asking for. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at the Power of the Primes Optimus Prime, and this is what the packaging looks like. You get a nice sort of just angled piece of artwork. Then you get the Power of the Primes figure run description there. On the side of the box, let's see if I can get this here. You have Orion Pax on the side of the box, which is really interesting. So something cool about this figure is, I'll turn this around, look at the back here. He actually has a few different modes. So comes with the matrix, which resides in his chest. We'll look at that here in a second, but breaks down into a standalone Orion Pax figure. The Optimus Prime figure itself is a sort of battle armor, which is, that's a cool take on it. And then when he houses or is in possession of the matrix of leadership, he evolves from Orion Pax to Optimus Prime, which is, that's pretty cool. So having said that, and I apologize, my review station is sort of taken apart at the moment. In the middle of a diorama, so I'm waiting for stuff to dry, which is why I figured I'd just take some time to hit y'all with another quick video. So, looking at this guy, I gotta tell you, he's man, me personally, I'm quite impressed. So, this is the head, and yes, this is a head on a Hasbro standard release, which that head is phenomenal. Great range of motion, in my opinion. You can get some pretty cool poses. These are stationary, they don't move like on the Masterpiece version, but I'm okay with that. Paint apps on the eyes are phenomenal. Silver paint app on his crown crest here looks good as well. Zero paint flaws on the mouth plate here, which I know with past releases that's been somewhat of a challenge. A little disappointed that they went with these these sort of foil decals, but it's nothing that a repro label, with the embossed logo can't fix if that is if that's the way you want to go. Should be noted, he actually comes with the full smokestack, and they made it sort of collapsible, which I think that's a cool feature. Maybe that's to get around some of the, the safety stuff that we've struggled with, that toy companies have struggled with here on this side of the globe. So great sculpted detail here in the windows, and one cool thing, and it's a little difficult to navigate, but you can open the chest here, and then you can pry open the chest of packs. I'm going to take this out all the way. A couple things I want to talk about with this, and I'll get to it in a second, but there within, he holds the matrix of leadership, and that's what it looks like. So what you have there is all around some solid orange paint application. It's a very difficult color to work with. So you have the light piping in the background here or in the back here, and what that does is, as light shines through, you get the luminescent feature there. One cool thing about this, though, is if you manage to find one of these guys, which he's probably the coolest so far in my opinion. I want to say this is Vector Prime. What you can do is you can open him up. This is a Titan not a Titan Master, I'm sorry, a Prime Master. So I guess this is supposed to be the reincarnation of the legendary Prime, and what you'll notice, similar construction to a Headmaster, but on the back they have this sort of power crest, which I guess when they go through their routine like that, you can take the centerpiece of the matrix and maybe, yep, you can push that out. And then what's cool is you can replace it with one of these bad boys right here. And then you can harness the power of said prime. So I'm assuming, based on this guy's readout, once you have the matrix, once you have him in the matrix slot and seated back in there, and of course I'm having problems now that I'm doing this on camera, but you seat it back in there, y'all get the picture. Oh Lord have mercy. See, in the ideal world, you'd seat that back in there, right? And then what I find fascinating is this is his card, right? If you flip it around, he's got a power swap. So what I'm guessing is it's like, I don't know, maybe it's like Mega Man, where, and I'm sorry, this is Vector Prime. Oh, I'm sorry, he's not, yes, he's got time travel, sorry. My Cronus is I guess it's this guy. So, time travel, so I'm guessing that when equipped with, you know, his power or whatever, Optimus Prime then gains the ability to travel to various points in the Transformer timeline. I don't know. Probably has something to do with the comic run. I know there's like a lot of different, they collapsed all of the universes, and there's like one place where they all gather where there's a ceasefire, sort of like a sanctuary spot, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so really cool. I think it adds to the overall, you know, canon and the mythos. It definitely expands on that. So I think that's a really cool feature. One thing that I have a problem with here, though, these tabs here, they painted silver here, and then it tabs, these pieces sort of tab in together. So what I'm finding is when I separate it, I kind of have to lean this forward to sort of get around the tab to preserve the paint. I'm concerned that, you know, there's going to be paint chipping there under, you know, heavy use, but I guess maybe that's more of a nitpick than anything else. But all in all, this is a really, really solid adaptation of the character, in my opinion. He also does come with his traditional BFG, you know, the cannon that he used in that legendary scene where he mowed down, what was it, Soundwave, a couple of the Seeker Jets, the Insecticons. He was just blasting folks when he showed up in that famous scene from the movie. So I guess getting into this guy, these are friction joints here. He's got, you know, the elbow gives you they're very generous with the range on the elbow. He's got forearm swivel. The hands are stationary, they don't move. That's kind of a bummer. Same thing on this arm, forearm swivel. The paint apps on the waist with the yellow are phenomenal. I kind of appreciate that they casted this bit in the color that it's supposed to be, because when you start, you know, getting hot and heavy with paints on mass releases, there's a good chance that you'll have, you know, a variance, like individual results may vary and whatnot. And then here, these are soft ratchets, which I think is great. I wish they would have done that up here too. The knee is pretty giving with the range of motion. The detail on the legs here look great. A little disappointed that they decided to do stickers here. I wish they would have just did something like this and maybe just, you know, left it there. So the legs sort of fold in and fold around to account for, or to solve for, you know, this hollowness, which I think that's a good step. The one thing that concerns me on this release is this. So his foot, his whole foot, is on a pinned hinge here, and then another pinned hinge here. So literally, like, as time goes, I think this will go with it. I don't know that this one's going to withstand the test of time under heavy use or heavy play conditions. However, oh Lord, what did I just do? I think if you're just going to leave it on a shelf, you see what I'm saying? It's pretty. So I think under, you know, display conditions, it'll last. If you're going to hand this off to a child to handle and you know, go back and forth between the various modes, you're gonna I foresee that there's gonna be problems with, you know, these foot joints here. However, having said all that, he does look pretty awesome. I think this is probably hands down the best retail release that we have seen for an Optimus Prime mainline figure, easily, without a doubt. So I'm going to cut here, and then we're going to go take a look at the individual Orion Pax figure and get some thoughts on that. All right, so here he is broken down as Pax Orion, and I got to say, just, I mean, if you're looking at that on a shelf for a main release figure, I can't find really too much to complain about. I think they're getting better as each line comes out. Like Combiner Wars, there were a lot of complaints, you know, repaint wars and all that jazz, which is perfectly an acceptable argument. I think the few things to come from that line were of note: the Megatron, the Devastator, the Skylinks. So that line had some cool stuff, and then Titans Return came out. Titans Return came out, and you know, we got Trypticon, Fortress Maximus, 2 Titans in one line, and that's just unheard of. And I'll just say most of those figures in that line I was pretty impressed with for a main release line. And now here we are, sort of finishing out the arc in the third wave of figures, and man, the bar just keeps getting higher and higher, in my opinion. I know that PAX had a release for the comic book, the comic IDW figures. I think this is really what you've been waiting for if you are a main release, mainline collector, I guess. Like I said, I have every intention of playing with these, you know, when my son is ready for them. Right now we're still in the Ninja Turtle phase, but having said that, I'm for a breakdown figure. So from breaking down to Optimus to Orion Pax, I've got no beefs with this thing, and I'll turn that on, let it spin around. So yes, he is wearing Optimus's the front piece on his back, but you're not going to see that, you know, when you have him up on a shelf. One thing to note too that's a sort of a getting away from like a lot of the traditional stuff is he's pretty, for the most part, right? He's pretty solid. Now, here's where it gets a little iffy, and folks will probably have some complaints or something to say. Yeah, he's got a little bit of hollow points here, and he's hollow behind, you know, in the legs. But I think, you know, the way that they did this, and okay, there's some hollow bits in there that I didn't see. But the way that they did this, I think the engineering is pretty good, pretty inspiring. And that head, man, that head cast, that is possibly the best rendition of this character that I think I've seen. And again, nice detail work in here, good paint. Bummer that that's you know, a stick-on sticker. And again, they're getting to where they're using more decals instead of, you know, sculpting extra stuff in here. The paintwork on the legs here is pretty clean for the most part. Figure has pretty good range of motion too. You can get, you know, if we were talking about, like, if they had vehicles, he would sit in a vehicle, no problem. Kind of reminds me of those Action Masters where it was just the robots only. I mean, he's got really good range of motion. The hands are stationary once again. His gun breaks down into 2 smaller blasters for him. This looks a little ridiculous, so I'm not even going to have him holding that. But what am I talking about? I'm not even going to have him as Orion Pax. So, you know, but just, you know, looking at this for the video, I'm pretty impressed. And even the paint in here for the details on the truck look amazing. So yeah. So that's Pax. We'll get him into truck mode, come back, and talk final thoughts, I guess. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here it is. This is the truck mode, and here's the deal, right? Like, the combat armor, I'll give it to him. You know, this is a little not for my taste, but that aside, the way that this thing sort of tabs together and kind of keeps you going down the path, I think the engineering is there. I really do. Again, for everything that this thing does, right? It turns into a standalone Orion Pax figure, and that's the truck from the front. So kind of, he's kind of got some heft to him there. Rolls pretty good, and then the trailer, you know, it just rests there like that. I mean, for what it is, I think this toy accomplishes a lot. I really do. Especially, again, the key thing here being this is a main release toy. So I don't know how much more we could ask for it now, because because these are tabbed together. You know, I'm pretty sure that this is meant to accommodate these. But I'm not going to even try it because there's nothing under here supporting that, and you put too much pressure on here and everything kind of comes untabbed. But the truck itself, I mean, for the, you know, the little attention to detail, the side mirrors, the side windows, I mean, everything's there. It's definitely Optimus Prime. Looks hideous from the bottom. Sort of an eyesore from the back as well, but again, you know, everything that we're asking, or everything that Hasbro is demanding that this thing do for the fans, I think, you know, I think it's acceptable. I really do. And yeah, so that's what he looks like in truck mode. I gotta say, I'm impressed. So that's that. And then once again, we'll just take a look at the trailer. Again, they opted for the sort of, you know, holographic stickers. I'm sorry, the foil chromed out stickers that we've been seeing. And I mean, it's okay. It looks okay. But I think most people that get this, they're not going to be displaying it like this on a shelf, because this is definitely the weaker mode of the unit, right? So, but the fact that it can do it, the fact that it does all that, and then some, you know, I think I give him a pass. So that's that, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll be right back. I'll get him back into robot mode. We'll come back and do some comparisons. All right, so here he is side by side with the Combiner Wars Megatron. And here's what I'll say. Seeing this like on my son's shelf, me personally, it gives me a very high level of satisfaction to finally see this. Keeping it, you know, all things being equal, realizing these are mass-produced, mass-release units, I'm okay with this. I think I'm more than okay with this. I think this is what we thought we had when we were kids. Granted, he's a tank, not a gun, but that, you know, different story for another day. Just the look, the overall look from here up. You know what I mean? Granted, there's some opportunity here, but still seeing this, the fact that we lived to see this on a mass release is that's something to be proud of. And I'm sure it brings, again, a lot of the mainline collectors a very high sense of satisfaction. Seriously. He's good. He is good for what he does, for everything that they're trying to cram into this one thing. This is a home run, in my opinion, and it is worth supporting at retail and the asking price. So yeah, so that's my final thoughts, final verdict on this guy. He is definitely a recommend for me. So that's it. So until next time, hope you guys take care. Thanks for tuning in. If you like what you see, please subscribe. As soon as I finish up this diorama, I'm going to be, doing a quick overview of that. So yeah, so till next time, stay tuned, take care, and thanks for everyone's support.